Welcome everybody to the Scale Up Show. Excited for you to be with me today. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk through live event AI use cases from 3 days with 700 executives.
How do you grow like a VC-backed company without taking on investors? Do you want to create a lifestyle business, a performance business, or an empire? How do you scale to an exit without losing your freedom? Those are the questions, and this show is the answer.
And I want to welcome everybody to this episode. It is brought to you by the Sales AI Accelerator, which is a new program I am releasing so that you can literally become superhuman by passing 99% of your peers and competitors by using AI 95% faster, specifically for sales. So if you want to be the first to know, check it out in the show notes. You can sign up for the waiting list for the next time it is reopened, and I look to see you in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do a little bit of a different episode. I'm going to walk through the kind of key takeaways that I had from the go-to-market event with over 700 executives. And on top of it, too, it was over 3 days. And it was in Nashville. Okay. So it was a really, really cool event. So what happened was I flew in Tuesday. I was supposed to go to a meetup. There was a party. And effectively, I got in kind of late. I was wiped for some reason Tuesday. And I don't know if you know about me, but the absolute worst thing in the world that you could do when you're going to an event for multiple days is to go in on fumes. Okay. And so I actually took a knee. I did not go out to the event, the party that I was invited to. And so I just kind of chilled. And it was kind of cool because the Blackhawks had their home, or not their home opener, their season opener. And Bedard was playing. So that was awesome. Who's like the number one overall pick in the draft for you hockey nuts. So got to see that, chilled. Okay. And then the next day, what I did is I did a bunch of things, right? What I'm going to do is walk you through kind of the core framework that I have when I'm leveraging this. And effectively, there's 3 things that I usually do when I go to events. And on top of it, I'm going to give you 3 bonus actual use cases at the end of how I use the new ChatGPT Vision at the event live and how you can use it for events that you have coming up, because it was kind of unique. It just came out. I was playing with it for about an hour in the airport, just use case, right? I'm like, okay, how can I use it here? How can I use it there? And then what happened was at the event, I tried to apply some of those and they work really, really well. So I'm going to share those with you at the end. But the first thing is, if you look at like the core event stack, I look at really 3 critical areas that I try and leverage for every single event. The number one thing, and this is outside the event stack, that I always do is try and find ways to help other people too, whether just by answering questions or sharing things that I know, or just anyway, right? So that's like an overarching theme. And then if you look at it like the event stack, number 1 is always have a focus on new business. Okay. Now, granted, there are some events where you're just going those for knowledge capture or masterminding. Events like this, where it's got your target audience, but then also peers and even folks that are further ahead than you. Those are really good events to always look at a new business opportunity, right? So what I do for these events to make him hyper valuable, regardless of whether I have a sponsorship or not, is I identify usually 5 to 7 folks that I want to meet with in advance. This could be prospect, this could be referrals, this could be existing customers, this could even be old customers, right? Like people that I really, really want to connect with live and form a different kind of connection that you just don't get over Zoom, okay? So that's step 1. If you do that consistently, every event you go to, and if you're an individual contributor, you could do this for every single day, right? So you could stack 10, 15, 20 meetings if it's a 3 or 4 day event and just be highly, highly not just productive, but at the same time, move a lot forward in a different way because you're doing it all live right in front of people. Okay. So that's number 1. Number 2, okay, partnerships. Okay. And when I look at partnerships, there's a lot of different ways to do this. Oh, wait, I forgot something. I don't want to miss this. So when we're talking about net new business, one other thing, and I've talked to so many people about this and many people forget to do it, is host a dinner, have that dinner with 3, 4 of your customers, and have that dinner also with another 6 to 8 prospects. Okay. 4 of your best customers, 6 of your best prospects. Boom. It's one of the easiest things in the world to convert when you do that, because you have people singing your praises with people that you really want to do business with. Okay. So didn't want to forget that. That was a great nugget. I've used it so many times over the years, and I think it's probably have like a 99% hit rate. I was actually talking to a SaaS CEO about that while I was there. I don't know, they're about 10 mil in revenue. He's like, I'm kicking myself for not doing that. Like, okay, so don't forget that. All right, now let's move on to the partnership side of it, okay? A lot of really good opportunities existed there because there's so many people that I've met over the last few years digitally, or I should say virtually, if you will, but actually saw them in real life. And so it was really cool. I actually got a chance to go out to dinner with a lot of other folks that are in the consulting area, like I am, and other areas that are supportive of that, right? So there's about maybe 7 or 8 of us that went out. It was really cool. I mean, some people like Dale Z, I got to meet him live in person, which we've known each other probably for 3.5 years and never met. So that was cool. At the same time, folks like Jeremy Sweet and Jonathan Moss, get to see those guys. Randy, I met her through Pavilion as well, was a hoot. And then, Pete Finseth was just somebody we met at the event that was there. So a lot of folks that were basically kind of going through the same thing that I was in terms of stage of the journey, building a business, doing all that. So from a partnering perspective, that was really, really strong because there's multiple opportunities that came out of that. And it was a hell of a lot of fun, right? So we went out to dinner. And then the other thing that I kind of realized is because I never in my past role had the opportunity for basically that growth through partnerships. And however, what I'm doing now, especially with the Sales AI Accelerator, is there's a lot of opportunities for me to share this with their audience or share this with other people and have their solutions complement mine and vice versa. So there was probably another 3 or 4 solid partnership opportunities that kind of came out as a result of the event. Okay. So that's 2. So partnerships. So we have, direct pipeline, and then we have partnerships. And then the last but not least, before we get into the ChatGPT Vision use cases, is knowledge and benchmarking. Okay. I always try and learn something super either insightful, interesting, that I can immediately apply when I get back from the event. Okay. And so there are some really cool speakers there. And so some of the folks that I really liked is Chris Voss. I've never seen Chris Voss speak live, who's the author of Never Split the Difference, also the Black Swan Group. Okay. So he was awesome to see. And one of my key takeaways from him was effectively, you can say the same thing to one person, but say it to him 3 different ways and get 3 totally different responses emotionally and psychologically based on how you phrase the question. And it was so good. Just kind of unlocking that. Cause one of the key things is all right, well, I like your outfit or whatever. It's oh, wow, I like your outfit. You must have a good reason for wearing that. It must be something that you really enjoy or something along those lines. And it basically changes the whole conversation experience that someone has from you. So the question architecture and labeling that he uses is unbelievable, which makes me want to dig into his work more from just a linguistics perspective. Okay, so that was really cool. Sangram from Go-to-Market Partners was really, really strong as well. I loved his, I think it was 15 challenges that they had with Go-to-Market, and then basically identifying what the challenge is and then attacking those and basically working through that. So that was something else that I found really, really interesting was his presentation. I sat through a few of his. Okay, and then the other thing that I talk about, so that's knowledge sharing, a couple of areas of okay, how can I use this or apply this to help either my clients or help my business personally, right? So the next one is benchmarking, and that's integrated into the knowledge and benchmarking. And this was really, really interesting because and I didn't really think of this until afterwards. I was debriefing, looking at all my notes. I took notes on my iPhone and I was taking pictures and then writing notes and then just kind of digesting it. And after I had a chance to process all of it, one of the things that was really, really unique is with benchmarking, I've been a nut, as you could tell, about AI, right? I've been just really deep into it, trying to understand it, trying to find all the business use cases. And here's the thing that was mind blowing to me. There was people up there that, and I'm not going to give any specific companies' names or anything like that, people that have very big companies that have a lot of funding, and they were saying stuff about AI that just isn't true. Okay. And I don't know if it was intentional because some of the large language models compete with them, or it's because of the fact that they're not up to date with what happened. Because they were saying stuff that was true 2 months ago, but is not true today. So the reason why I'm telling you this is not to put someone else down, but more to give you insight is even people that do this for their job, that are in the thick of it, that are responsible for companies and revenue orgs that have AI companies, aren't even able to keep up with this because it's happening so fast. So I'm doing that to give you like a virtual hug so that you don't feel overwhelmed and that you can understand just by attacking this and going after this, you could be further ahead than 99.5% of the people in this space, even by those that like basically this is their job. This is what they do. Okay. So like once again, you could be ahead of 99.5% of people if you just attack this and go after this because you focus on it, even versus people that have companies that sell competing solutions with this. Okay. So that's part of why I'm creating these resources for you and sharing those with you. And that leads me to a perfect segue. Oh, I forgot one other thing. I had an AI meetup while I was there, which was fantastic. Right. I met with some of the folks that I've mentioned before. There was founders, there was other people involved. And it was amazing, right? Just sharing use cases, nerding out on AI and how to leverage it. There was actual partnership meetings at dinner and drinks, axe throwing, and then last but not least, absolutely amazing. One of my friends, Brian, I should say, is he's an owner of the Predators. Got to go to the owner's box. Had some people join me: Sophie, Pete, Jeremy, Cliff Simon, Josh. My wife, my friends. Brian and Angela and Brian and Steph. It was just absolutely amazing to do that, have that experience. So thank you. If you listen to the show, Brian, that was one of the most amazing experiences that I've ever had. So awesome. And then I got to connect with people that I have not met or seen in real life as well. So that was amazing. Okay. So now getting to the bonus, the use cases of like, how can you use this? So if you do not have it, download the mobile app of ChatGPT on your phone. Okay, so you're going to be able to talk to it like a human. There's the voice capability where you can actually have conversations with it, and then it records the conversation like as a separate chat. But then there's also vision. So what's available now is like you can take pictures of it. And if you don't have it, make sure your app is updated. Okay, there was somebody at the conference who's an amazing person that did not update their app, and so they're like, I don't have it, I don't get it. So I showed them. All it is a little box at the bottom. Okay, that like a picture, just like you would in a text. So what's happening there is one of the cool things is there's 3 use cases that I kind of identified while I was at a live event. Okay, and so one of them was how you have those kind of like screenshots of the sponsors, right? Where there's like logo, like all over the place, right? One of the things I did was I took a picture of it, and then I fed that into ChatGPT, and I said, okay, categorize every single one of these companies. I want you to categorize them by their solution, who they serve, their potential revenue, annual revenue. And then, I was looking at it from potential partnership perspective, like who would be good people that serve the same audience that I do in a complementary but non-competitive way, right? And the results were pretty freaking cool. Like all I did is took that picture and gave those instructions to ChatGPT, and it spit out a lot of details. Now I asked it for in tabular format as well, which is pretty cool. The one thing I would tell you though, the revenue numbers weren't very good in terms of how big the companies were, but I would say the categorization and then the solution offering were really good. So that's like one example right there. A second example that you could leverage for using ChatGPT Vision at a live event would be, how many times do you have a speaker that goes on and gives like an amazing talk and they're like, on fire, but they're going fast with their presentation. They're shooting through slides, and all you have to do now is take a picture. So you can take a picture of that framework or of what they're sharing and effectively pop that into ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT to write that as a guide, or you could ask to use that framework and then give it some context around what you do as well as how to apply it. Not how to apply it, but like what you want to apply that framework for. So let me give you an example. So let's just say I see someone talking about a sales process, right? Like I'm going to give like the most basic example. Let's say somebody talking about a sales process. Boom, take a picture of it, okay? And I'm, let's say, a founder who's new to sales, which I am not, but let's say I am, right? So take a picture of that, ask them, hey, what is the best way for me to apply this in my business? I sell this to this person, and this is what my solution offering does and the outcomes it creates, right? So that's an example of like applying a framework. And you could also say like, how do I tactically implement this over the next 30 days? So then you get information about, what you like what the speaker is doing it, and you're customizing it specifically to your business. Okay. So that's number 2. And then, last but not least is the third one, which is like notes. Okay. I don't know if you're like me, but I take tons and tons of notes. So you could take notes in writing, or you could take it like on Apple Notes. And what I would say is there's 2 kind of ways you could do it. Like obviously if it's Apple Notes, like on your Apple phone, on the notes section, you can copy and paste that, feed it into ChatGPT and ask it to summarize it and identify potential outcomes that you would get by leveraging those notes, or summarizing the notes with action items that you want to make sure you execute on. Or if you take a picture of your notes and they're written, you can effectively do the same thing. So those are 3 use cases that are super simple. 1 is like partnering opportunities. 2 is like effectively executing the knowledge. And 3 is like summarization of notes with action items. And you can even ask it to prioritize, right? Like I haven't gone super deep on this, but just a couple of things that came to mind as I was going through it. And so I had to share these with you, and I hope that you try them. And then let me know when you try them, like what's the exact outcome you get, any other new ideas. And I would love, love, love to hear those. So thanks for being on the show. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. I greatly, greatly appreciate you. One of the biggest compliments you can give me is if you share this with other people and tell them, because that is the best way that podcasts spread. So thanks for being on the show. We'll see you all on the next episode.
Thank you for checking out the Scale Up Show. My mission in life is to help founders and revenue leaders avoid all the pain and suffering in revenue growth so they can flip it and create a life of their own design. So if you enjoyed this show, please like, review, share it on social, and more importantly, just share it with a friend. Share it with someone that you think could learn and benefit from what you heard on today. But the more we get the message out, the more people we could help, the bigger the impact we make, and the bigger the community gets, which helps everybody. So once again, thank you for being a loyal listener. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.